Hello, hello everyone. I have been madly prepping for the card I'm going to make tonight, and I'm not quite done prepping, so you're catching me right in the middle of it. Welcome to another weekly live stream. Before we get into it, I wanted to let you guys know that I updated my postage flow chart. This is the free PDF download that has a chart that will walk you through figuring out how much postage you need for your cards to send them in the mail. So I just want to let you guys know there is an update with all the new pricing, and it is down below in the video description. I put it right at the top of the description. So if you were waiting for that update, I should have updated it like 6 months ago, literally 6 months ago. If you were waiting for that update, it is there now. You can download it right now. Okay, so as you can see, I'm cutting a bunch of cardstock strips. I'm going to be using my easy strips. This is the Easy Strips die from my line. And I've picked out a fun color combination for my card tonight. These are the colors. These are my little Concord and Ninth swatches. I was lazy and I did not stamp the names on those. But over the weekend, I participated in the Winter Retreat virtual crafting event from Concord 9th. And during the event, Jennifer McGuire challenged us all to use the color Pimento. And I will be the first to admit I have not used very much of it. So I took the challenge to heart, and I am using Pimento. And if Jennifer's watching, it is all your fault that I have this color combo tonight. That sounds like it's bad. No, I would give her the credit for inspiring me to use some Pimento. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm cutting out these last few strips. And then we're actually going to make a French fry card. Of all my products in my January release, I was most excited about the French fries. And I have not made a card with you using the French fries yet. So here we are. We're going to do French fries. And for the life of me, whenever I try to make these French fry cards, I just want to make the French fry holder red because I just think of McDonald's French fries. But I'm going to challenge myself to make them a different color. I think I'm going to have the French fry container be Peacock or Plumberry, one of those. I haven't quite decided yet. We're going to see what the background looks like first and then figure that out. So I've got all my colors in all of these strips. And I find that when I'm going to be doing like a stripped background, I find it easiest to just do that with a full adhesive sheet. So I'm going to grab that over here. I'm going to be using a full adhesive sheet from Altenew. And I probably should have made this adhesive sheet almost just like a little bit bigger than a card front. Even so, it does hang off a little bit. So that's okay. I'll trim it down. Sorry Emily, I'm not sure how to say her name, says she just got the French fries. She's excited to use it. Yay. All right, so I'm just going to start picking some of these strips. I'm kind of thinking I maybe don't want to do all the little ones. I want to do more of the bigger ones. I'm thinking just to have a little bit of interest, I'm going to do some dashed lines just to bring a little bit of brightness to it because there is a lot of color happening. And a lot of this is actually going to be broken up by some white cardstock that I'm going to put on the bottom. All right, I'm going to put all my extra strips off to the side. There was a debate during Winter Retreat this weekend, and I'm curious about you all. When it comes to adhering cardstock, like large panels to your cards, do you prefer a liquid adhesive or tape runner? I am team tape runner. Got a little bit of white hanging out over there. I'm going to have to trim that. And in particular, because I like to get the tape runner right to the edge so that there's like no kind of separation between the card base and the panel. I use my tape runner a lot, especially since, years ago when I started using the extreme adhesive, because it is just so strong. My main complaint with the regular tape runner adhesives is that, especially in my dry climate, it would very often like separate. Okay, so the French fries look like so. These are the French fry dies. Some of you in the chat have said that you're waiting for yours or that you have them already. So I'm excited about that. When I designed this die set, I felt so clever because I figured out a way to make it look like you have, what is it? 1, 2, 8, 13, 17, 20 individual French fries in your container of fries, but you don't have to glue that many into the French fry container. So I'm going to start by grabbing a bunch of Buttercup cardstock. You can tell I've already got a bunch from when I made other cards. Just some scraps and whatever. And I'm going to die cut all of the fries. So the dies themselves are numbered on the back. I went over it with a Sharpie, so you can see it says number 1. That means that this is the back of the fries. You're going to be starting that when we stack them. So 1, 2, oh, that's going to fit perfect. 1, 2, and we've got 3, 4. Ooh, we might get all of them on these these two pieces. 5. Is that going to fit? Ooh, it's so close. I'm going to make it fit. Put these in. Run this through. All right, I'm going to, as I take these off my die cutting sandwich, I'm going to place them in the order of the numbers. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, so then there's 5. And then I can just place these right back on the backer sheet in the same spot. I numbered my packaging as well, just so it would be easier for me to grab them. And so I don't have to look at the back, but you don't have to. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut these 2 individual French fries as well. Just because I think I might end up using them. Oh yes, Wendy, I agree. Wendy says, I use the Tombow Extreme and I can say this, you cannot be timid. When you use this tape runner, you got to commit. That is very true. And I have learned to just go with it and it works well. But you really, like, once you put that paper down, there's no peeling it apart. It's stuck forever. And the fries are going to be over on this side. So I'm thinking maybe Peacock because it'll be far away from this one. And I'm going to cut out the fry container. Now, before I start assembling the fries, I need to do a little bit of stamping on the container. And before I do that, I need to get the rest of my greeting figured out. So I'm going to show you this. I'm basing my card design on this card. My striped pattern is going to be back here. I'm going to have the fry container and I'm going to use this same die cut greeting. You can see that it's nice and stacked up, nice and substantial. I love using this Love You die set paired with the French fries. I just love it so much. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. But because I need to know where to place this down here, I'm going to have to die cut the Love You first. So there we go. That last one redeemed it for me. Okay. So now we're going to stamp and heat emboss the second half of the greeting. So it will say, love you more than French fries. All right, so I've got my little fry container. I'll just put it down here in this bottom corner. I have a grip mat in my MISTI, so it should stick there while I'm working on it. And then I'm going to have this love you kind of right there. So I want to position the greeting right below. So it's this one that says more than French fries. So let's put this down here in the bottom corner. Can remove my die cut greeting. And I know that's in the corner even though it lifted, so I'll just put that back in the corner. I'm gonna eyeball that to make sure that's right. Yep, that's right. Use my anti-static powder tool right there. My white pigment ink right here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put my magnet right there just to make sure it doesn't move, because I might need to stamp it more than once. Yeah, I'm going to stamp it more than once. For white pigment ink especially, I like to stamp twice at minimum. Oh yeah, that's much better. White embossing powder. I'll just sprinkle this on. I like to tap it so that it goes in multiple directions and catches all the edges and corners of my stamping. There we go. Perfect. Jennifer McGuire said this weekend that heating from underneath is better. I don't know if I believe that, but we're going to try it. Huh. She might be right. She was saying that, especially for little dainty greetings like this, heating from the underside gives you a smoother result on the top, which I might agree. Look how smooth that is. There's like no pits in the white or anything. That looks really nice. Sometimes it still amazes me. You know, like, I know so many people, like, they're not really into card making or anything until they see heat embossing, particularly metallic heat embossing, and it's just magical. And they're like, holy crap, like, I'm in it. I'm ready for this. The fry container has some scored lines on it. I'm going to go ahead and fold those over. So I have my fry container ready. Now I'm going to take my fries that are up here, and I'm actually going to do a little bit of ink blending on them. I was thinking that I might try something like this, and I even suggested it to JC Gaspar when I saw him this weekend, so he might do this in a video or a live soon too, but I thought it would be really fun. So I'm basically going to just add a little bit of like a toasty color to the outside edge, and I really just want the edge. Okay, I'm also discovering like doing like a, maybe I should try a smaller blending brush or something that has more of a, like a straight line. Because then I can just go right up the edge of the fry and give it a little bit of that crisp. I'm just trying them all out. See what happens. In fact, if I do it with this blending tool from Waffle Flower, this is the Shader 3. I might not even have to mask it. I'm also discovering that the more ink I have in the brush, like the more I can kind of do it in one swipe. And you're going to die. It's so easy to assemble these fries the way that I designed them and put them together. I am not the fussy die person. Like some crafters love to cut out 5 million little tiny die cuts and put them all together. That is not me. All right, I'm going to ink blend these freestanding French fries real quick. Like I am always on the hunt to get that lots of die cut look, but without having 5 million tiny little die cuts. You know what I'm saying? All right, just a little bit of color on that. Okay, so now we're going to put together the French fries. And it's so easy. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have 2 little separate little fries. You're going to take your liquid adhesive and you're going to start with the number 1. Remember, this was the die that was labeled 1. I'm just going to put a line of glue right there. Then I take number 2 and I line up the bottom. Then I take a line of glue, put number 3 on top, line up the bottom. See how it's like building the group of fries? Line of glue, putting on number 4. Line of glue. And there we are. There's all of the fries that are popping out of the box. All right, and then this is super easy. You just put some glue right there. And then you're going to look for the bottom of the U shape here and just kind of bring it up to like right below or right above that straight line there. I'm going to pick this up. And then you can kind of move it around a little bit. And then you've got your fry box. All right, while that is kind of adhering down, I put paper, my little paperweight there. I'm going to put foam adhesive on the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to take some foam adhesive and I'm going to put it at the bottom. I'm not putting anything on the sides that are kind of folded up a little bit. Okay. All right. So here's our fries. They're ready to go. So these, oh, I love this. It's so retro. I love it so much. Okay. So I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock and I'm just going to put it here at the bottom so it looks like there's something for the fries to be standing on. Like there's a little bit of a grounding. So I'm going to kind of take a measurement of how much it needs to be. I'm thinking about right there. We'll just cut it right there. What is that, an inch? Yeah, about 1 1/8 inches. Chomp this right here. This will just give it a little bit of a grounding. Put my tape runner adhesive. You could also do a different color for this part, but okay, I'm checking my card, making sure it's opening the right direction. I'll put that down. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take the release paper off the back of the foam, and then I'm going to take my liquid glue, and I'm only going to apply it to this, the backmost layer of the fries. So we want the rest of them to kind of float up there. Okay, so then, in fact, you know what? I'm going to do what Kathy Zielski does. Put a little glue on the foam that'll give it a little slip so I can kind of slide it around a little bit. I'm thinking about right there. And then I'm just going to press that down. All right, and it keeps like, it's kind of folded up on the edge, right? All right, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and add liquid adhesive to the back of this. Now, when this goes on here, notice how the edge over here hangs off the corner and this one right here and this one right here. So I'm going to avoid putting glue in those areas. I am going to grab this little tip because that will be on it, but I'm going to skip the loop on the Y and the very end of the loop on the L but I think it'll adhere most places. Okay. We'll just put it like this. Hold that down for a moment till it gets tacky. No stray fry gets left behind. Yes. Yes. Not in my house. Seriously, if I don't finish the fries, which would be very rare, then my husband will finish them. In fact, most of the time, he only wants a few fries. So when we have French fries, we'll just get one order of fries and we'll share it. But he always steals the first like 3 or 4 fries and then I get the rest. All right, so here is the finished card for tonight. I love how that turned out. Such a fun kind of retro color palette. And I like the shading on the French fries. I think it turned out really cute. So here's a comparison to the other French fries. These were done with, I think it was Buttercup. That's the brighter yellow, and the darker yellow, I think was Honeycomb. But over here, I just used Buttercup. You can see how just adding the ink blending kind of, gives them a little bit of shading and has a little bit of a crisp on it. I think it goes really well with the color palette, which it's more muted versus the more bright yellow over here. But super cute. Love it so much. All right, so this is the finished card. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back later this week with an edited video for you all, probably on Thursday. And then on Friday, you won't want to miss this. I'm going to be back for mail call. I'm going to be opening up all the cards that you sent me for the month of January. And the theme for January was hearts or heart cards. So I'm fully expecting some Valentine's cards. It's perfect timing. So I hope you'll come back and join me on Friday night at 6 p.m. Thanks so much for joining me and for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.